Jax is the secondary protagonist of the Amazing Digital Circus and one of its antagonists as well. He takes the form of a rubber hose-style cartoon rabbit in overalls, always wearing a pair of yellow gloves, which makes him reminiscent in part of Bugs Bunny and in part of 1940s Mickey Mouse, or perhaps more appropriately, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. He looks, in other words, like he could be a minor character in any number of merry melodies or silly symphonies, with a very long and lanky design and a very simple, graphically stylized face that's perpetually stuck with its teeth in a big, carved grin. He presents himself very much as his archetype: chaotic, violent, impulsive, always looking to make someone else the butt of a joke, and extremely eager to cause problems on purpose. Very quickly, of course, it's revealed that this bunny is a little bit more complex than he would like to pretend, but there is also a bit of a visual hint towards that idea baked into his character design. Even in early episodes, when his animation rig was rather janky, you can see on Jax's face that his purple skin is a flexible moving suit that travels over the volume of a stiff inner yellow body on which his eyes and teeth are drawn, carved, or painted. It's a design detail which could, on the one hand, be just a stylistic affectation, a cool way to render the character because it looks neat, but it can also be understood to evoke the idea of a disguise or a costume, something that Jax is wearing to cover up a true self that he's trying to keep hidden. From that perspective, even his gloves can be understood to have a kind of double meaning. On the one hand, yes, these are simply the aesthetic affectations of 1940s rubber hose characters copied over from vaudeville and minstrel shows, but on the other hand, gloves are also something that you wear to avoid physical contact, to put a barrier between your sense of touch and the world around you. A haughty nobleman might wear gloves so as not to touch the filthy world of commoners, that sort of thing. Of course, Jax is hardly the only character in the circus who wears gloves, so such a reading would only make sense if the show ever makes a point of visually removing his gloves in a emotionally vulnerable moment. An interesting comparison can also be made between Jax and Pomni. Pomni is short and Jax is tall. Pomni is emotional and vulnerable, where Jax is detached and ironic. Pomni is considerate of others, where Jax is, frankly, an asshole. But they are also both rubber hose characters, and they are both comedy-themed. In fact, Bugs Bunny and characters like him are often understood as modern jesters, so there's strong contrast between them. They seem to kind of be opposites in some ways, but there's also a strong thematic affinity. They are very different, but they do go together, which is a good and interesting set of qualities to have in a pair of dual protagonists.